Alright guys, this is Emoji again. This is a video about Dread, an RPG, an horror RPG. It's been written and designed by Ipidaya Ravachol, and it's been famous since it came out. It's quite original and it's quite good as well. So this is a good example of how you can design a game in a really, I would say, simple way, and still delivering exactly what it's supposed to be delivering on a really intense level. So this is it. Let's take a look at the book for starter. um, it's I like this minimalist cover there. It looks good, but I gotta say I'm not a fan of this book in terms of layout. Like if you look at the just the back here, I like the end thing, but I would have kept it white. I think it's quite ugly with all this writing, and when you look inside, it's all the same. The pages are all filled with all kinds of no pages is the same. You have all these sections that you don't quite understand what they're meant for, and it's filled out to the corner. Like it's all filled out to the corner. It's kind of it's I don't like it. I don't like the layout at all. And the artwork is it's minimalist. It is what it is. The thing though, there is something that is really good with the layout, is these boxes. I'm gonna try to show it to you. These boxes, you see, like that and like that. It's a summary, bullet point style of everything that is in the chapter, in the current chapter. So you look for a quick rule, you go there. You don't want to go through that long narrative there. You just read this, and it does the job very well. So this is a really strong component of this book. This is an example of images there is in the book that I mentioned earlier. So there you go. This is for the aesthetic. Otherwise, I really like the cover, and I like it on the shelf too. It makes that bloody little thing, on the shelf. Now, what is it? It's an horror game. The book is divided in the beginning of the book. It's you have the rules. Chapter 1 is like the introduction, and then you have like the chapter 2, which is the rules, and chapter 3, which is the character creation, and then they're all the rest of the book. You know, 4, 5. It's all tips and tricks. It's like an essay on horror. What is an horror game? How do you do horror? How do you define horror? How do you host a dread game in order to make it frightful for real, not just a silly, because most RPG fall into that silliness where you're trying to do horror, but you basically just end up laughing and cracking jokes, and eventually it becomes silly. So it gives a lot of good advice on how to run an horror game. If you don't like the Jenga Tower, and but you like horror game, this deserves a place in your collection, just because most of it is like an essay on how to run a horror game. The last section is simple stories for to help you go along with it, and test the water as a host. The GM is called a host in this game. Dread can run from one session, just like a party game kind of thing, from one session to how many sessions you want. They talk about 3 to 5 in the book, but you can go to how long as you're willing to keep going at it. There is this curve of the tension that is built upon the Jenga tower. So anybody that has played Jenga the Jenga before, you know how it goes. So the more you pull, the more it becomes risky. So if I go like this, you can use one hand to pull, and you need to switch if you want to change a hand. But and you put it on the lower level, and you put it on the top, and now this is how you play the game, and this build tension, around the table, because the more you pull, the more the tower gets shaky, and then this is how the tension of the horror is built in this game. It's really simple like that. And then so how it goes, the rules are quite easy. You want to do something, you tell the GM what you want to do, and he tells you how many pulls. And if you have advantages or level of difficulty or any kind of stuff that happens, or whatever, you're good at something versus you're bad at something, this shall be taken in consideration. So for example, if the GM you say I wanna climb a wall, and to see if I can find an exit. Well, he says, okay, the wall is sleepy, but there is a section where you can put your hand there, so it's gonna help you. So let's make it 2 pull. 1 pull to see if you can reach that section, and then another pull to see if you can take advantage of that section to climb. And you say, oh yeah, but I am an alpinist for some reason, and then he takes away one of the pulls. Say, okay, let's do this in 1 pull then. You see, and then so you take one of the block in the bottom section, put it on top, and then we wait a couple seconds, see if the Jenga falls. If the Jenga doesn't fall, you succeed. If the Jenga fall, you fail, and you're out of the game. That's basically what the game is about. And then you need to do another character, or wait for depending on the consequence, depending on the story and everything, you wait for the other people to either get you back somehow, or you create another character, you come back. Now, talking about character creation and knowing about your character, the fact that he's an alpinist or not, in Dread, it's based on something that we call a questionnaire. It's really interesting character creation. This is one of the most inspiring part of this game that I love, is the fact that the host designed a questionnaire, and the questions shall be linked to the story in a way that it tells about the setting. So creating the questionnaire, there is a sample question of character, and there is a sample and a lot of suggested questionnaire structures, so like come on, focus. Anyway, so there is a couple topics here, question to answer. I don't understand why he doesn't want to focus. Come on. Anyway, it says, how do you behave? How do you look? How do you relate to the other character? What are your fears? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Those are the topics that could be addressed. Those are not the questions. And then you want to address those questions, those topics, in forms of questions. So this is a sample, like before the apocalypse, What job did you hold at a .com company, and what did you enjoy the most about it? I don't understand. Anyway, how do you think the other treat you differently because you are the youngest in the group other than the child? So you see, those questions are long and they are evocative. So in the questions, there is all kinds of stuff that tells you about the setting, tells you about what your role, what you do as a character, and stuff like that, and already gives you an idea of what your character is. So in one question, you can address actually 3 to 4 things, and forces the player to answer them in short paragraphs like that, and those 10 questions or 12 questions, depending on how you want to do it, I mean, flesh out the character almost like a backstory, and also is used to build the fear in the fact that it's an horror game. So you wanna know the weaknesses of the characters. You wanna know how they feel about the setting before starting the game, because think about it. If you have to create a character with which you're gonna try and enact fear in a 3 to 5 hour session, you gotta be jumping right into it. There's no advancement system, there's no character development whatsoever. I mean, a little bit of character development because um, you create a character for the first session, but let's say it goes over 3 sessions. What you do is you change the questionnaire a little bit for the second session, and then you go deeper into character development by asking deeper questions the more sessions you go in. So that's how character develop. There's no stats, you know. So all you have is information, narrative information, and that helps you define how to pull off and how to pull the block stuff, and then also how to feel about what happened. So that's basically it. So now there's a couple moves you can do. For example, so for a simple task, that's one pool. For a complicated task, something that is really hard, you divide the task in steps like I did with the wall, and you ask for more pull. If the player doesn't want to pull because he's afraid, you he fails. If you want to sacrifice yourself, you push the Jenga down. For example, you know that you have 3 pull to do, and then you think you're not gonna make it because the tower is too shaky already. Instead of just failing, you sacrifice yourself. You decide to drop the tower. It goes for a climactic moment. Everybody knows that you're gonna die or something, but you save the day though, instead of simply failing and dying anyway. So that's for that must happen pretty much every time, because unless on a surprise collapse of the tower. But if you can see it coming, you sacrifice yourself. It helps you. So there's this gamble, there's this gamble at the end where, am I gonna make it? Am I not gonna make it? Creating that tension. So every time the tower falls, there's a downtime where you build up the tower again, and it's fresh again. So it takes a couple of rounds before it goes shaky. So these are great for horror. I like describing the book because like in a horror movie or a horror book, if you cannot always play in the tension, you need to go on cool moments, sensitive moments, romantic moments, whatever, in order to build that tension. So perfect mechanism right there to do the job. Another thing that can happen is a versus, like you fighting with another PC. So what you do is that you describe what you want to do, and then the GM tells you how many pulls you have to do, because all the reasons I described earlier, and then if you made it, the one that is being aggressed, the one that is defending, only has one pull to counter what you're trying to do, and you can decide to keep going by pulling a little bit more, and then it becomes this versus until the tower collapses. Another thing that you can also do is that you can do what they call an elective pull. I think it's when you pull. I said, oh, I'm gonna pull another one because I want to know this much. I'm gonna pull another one because I wanna make sure the door is locked behind me. I want to pull more in order to get some advantage for later on in the game. So that's another move you can do in these games. Basically, that's how Dread goes. It's basically just a really simple. It's I think the focus is on the tower, obviously the tension builder, and the focus is also on the description and in the vibe, the ambiance. The better the questionnaire, the better the character will be fit to enact fear and dread in the game, and the better the narration and the ambiance created by the host, the better the experience. I would definitely consider this game for any RPG fan, just because for its simplicity, for his uh, it's so relevant. I mean, it's really relevant for the hobby because it's really unique, and it's probably the best horror game out there because it really does it in a way that other games don't. I would um, I would also pick it up only for the suggestion on how to run a horror game in the last section, and it's really versatile. I mean, in at the end of the book, you have if you don't have a Jenga tower, how you can use Dread with a die. So it's really versatile game, really easy to come by, and I strongly recommend it. This is it. This is Dread with the Jenga tower. Thank you for watching. If you have played Dread before and you have some stuff you want to share with us, if you think I missed something on describing it, let me know. And again, thank you for watching, and have a good one.